You ready for this?
Boom, 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 boom.
All right, full disclosure. Oh, well, I guess I should do this the right way. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Delete Everything Podcast, our third monthly mini. You know, like we have in the past, we're not going to go run down the full gamut of all the things, but you know all the things, Patreon and Instagram and reviews and things. Do all those.
Yeah.
So these monthly mini intros are a lot loosey-goosey compared to the ones where we actually think about what we're doing.
Well, also, I mean, I think in context, the monthly mini isn't going to make a whole lot of sense without listening to the other episodes. And this particular one is involving the MK Ultra project.
It is.
So we have two episodes on that. So both of those already have all the information. Listen to those fucking things.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, if you have not listened to MK Ultra 1 or 2, God, please listen to those. They're so fucking good.
More fun than a pile of dead monkeys.
So for this monthly mini, I wanted to focus because we've got two very, very significant people in the MK Ultra, in the CIA and in the MK Ultra that we touched on a little bit, but not as much as really they should have been touched on, because I wanted to do this sort of standalone on them. And I started doing the research on it in my normal mode of like, I'll just get my fucking notes together and so blah, blah, blah. And I realized like really quickly that if I did it the way that I normally do it, it would be another fucking 2-hour episode.
Yeah.
So I said, scratch that. I'm going to go through each of these guys real briefly, and then we can just sort of, you ask whatever questions you want, and we can react to their atrocities accordingly. So Allen Dulles, right?
I just drove through Washington as Dulles National Airport.
Dulles Airport, yeah. That's named after Allen Dulles, baby. I think it's after Allen Dulles. His brother John was Secretary of State. You
confirmed that already.
I'm pretty sure it was Allen Dulles.
God
but I mean, his
damn
brother was Secretary of State at the same time.
See this?
But Allen was in government for a lot longer than John Dulles was. But they're both terrible. Allen's just worse.
No, you fucking idiot. It's Dulles International Airport is named after John Dulles.
Secretary of State John Dulles.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
Prominent figure in American foreign policy.
Yeah, whatever. He was kind of a shitbag too.
Well, yeah, he's got a fucking monster demon brother.
Well, he was no fucking saint either. But yeah, he was Secretary of State under Eisenhower. So Allen Dulles he was born in 1893. So fucking long ass time ago. And he was one of 5 kids. His brother John being one of them. The rest of them are non-factors in this. But I mean, he was brought up very like affluent family, religious family. His grandfather was Secretary of State under Benjamin Harrison. He had an uncle that was Secretary of State under Woodrow Wilson.
Like a legacy.
So yeah, very legacy. He went to Princeton, like he's Silver Spoon.
Where was he born?
He was born in Watertown, New York.
Oh, so coastal elite.
Yeah. Yeah. So he never went into the military or anything like that. He was college kid. He went to Princeton and he graduated. I don't even know what the fuck he graduated with. What?
Magna cum loudly.
No, I mean, what degree? I think he graduated with he graduated with a law degree, because he became a lawyer before he went into the government. So
daddy bought him a law degree. Maybe he was very intelligent and worked hard. I don't know.
I mean, it can be both. Daddy could have bought him the law degree and he could still be smart. So he ends up working for some time at a prominent New York law firm, Sullivan and Cromwell. His brother John also works there. So
Sullivan and Cromwell.
Yeah. He eventually, by the time he gets into the 1920s, he ends up going into government. He is the director of the Council on Foreign Relations. And, he ends up that ends up opening doors for him to go into the OSS and eventually the CIA, like we talked about in MK Ultra 1. Interestingly, as during his Council on Foreign Relations, right, in the late 20s, early 30s, he ended up serving as a legal advisor to the League of Nations. He met Adolf Hitler. He met Benito Mussolini. He met all these guys pre-World War II.
Cool autographs to have.
Now, worth some money to the right buyer, I guess. But I mean, like, again, not a great thing to have on your legacy. He wrote his brother at one point after meeting Hitler saying that Hitler's regime was not quite as bad as an alarmist friend had indicated. This was in 1933. He's like, he's not that bad. I mean, this guy's just freaking out. Yeah, I know. Apropos, huh?
Yeah, right?
So he also met Joseph Goebbels, and he stated that he was impressed with Goebbels and cited his sincerity, quote, sincerity and frankness when they met. Yeah.
And frankness.
Slam frankness.
Oh, yeah. If you guys, if you haven't had the chance,
The displeasure.
Just Google, the pleasure. Google Slam Frank musical. It's a fucking phenomenon.
Oh, God, I hate it so much.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so bad.
You hate it. I think it's the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life, even though it's a problem.
Big problem. Big old problem. So, fucking, he ends up in the OSS. We know all this stuff in terms of things like Operation Sea Spray. There were, after World War II, sort of kicked off, obviously he changed his mind about Hitler, as far as we know, as far as outwardly to the public. He was like in contact with people who were attempting to assassinate Hitler, trying to construct a plan for a Hitler assassination.
Fucking CIA asshole. He's going to be doing covert clandestine stuff.
Yeah, well, this is pre-CIA. This is OSS, but still.
Working on it, where he's getting there.
Yeah, right. So, but at the same time, as World War II was getting close to the end of, the middle of 45, when they said, okay, no mas, Sullivan and Cromwell, Dulles' law firm, who Dulles is still part of.
What about Cromwell? Is he still?
Yes.
Oliver Cromwell?
Oliver Cromwell is still there. What is Oliver Cromwell?
That's a fucking British Monarchy Part 2.
Was it?
Yeah, fucking Samuel Beckett and all that stuff.
Okay. For some reason, in my mind, it was a fictional character, and I couldn't remember what. But he wasn't fictional, huh? So Sullivan and Cromwell is at the same time as Dulles is in the OSS, sort of doing all this clandestine shit and, torturing Nazi soldiers for information, et cetera, et cetera. Sullivan and Cromwell is working to move Nazi funds out of Germany.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, because Germany's being and will be embargoed for a very long time. And so he's working with fucking Heinrich Himmler, or at least Sullivan and Cromwell is, to transfer Nazi wealth out of other countries, because Himmler's plan was to start a Fourth Reich. Yeah.
Sorry, that's fucking. What about the fourth? So fucking stupid.
That third one didn't do so well, but I think maybe a fourth time's the charm. So, and one of the guys who was part of Himmler's plan for this Fourth Reich, moving all this, wealth out of Germany. By the way, a lot of it accrued from Holocaust victims.
Yep.
A guy named Kurt Baron von Schroeder. He was actually a business associate of Alan Dulles. So there's a lot of weird shit going on here where, like, on one hand, Dulles is playing the, we're fighting the Nazis. And then on the other hand, he's like, hey, bring all your stuff to Argentina. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a very strange dichotomy there. But by the way, if you guys have not listened, if you want a little extra stank on this, go back and listen to J. Edgar Hoover and COINTELPRO, another really great episode. J. Edgar Hoover is the head of the FBI during all this.
Yeah.
So we had J. Edgar Hoover, a horrible person.
Yeah, real piece of shit.
And Alan Dulles, a horrible person.
Yeah, real piece of shit.
Running the FBI and the CIA, respectively, for a long time.
Yeah, the two most powerful clandestine offices
Jesus.
In the world?
Yeah.
Yeah, the world, right? Like outside of like the KGB?
I mean, yeah. I would say so.
Like outside of the Kremlin, I would say that fucking, I mean, maybe even against, like maybe on top of the Kremlin.
Maybe like Israeli Mossad too, because they're
it couldn't even be at that time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Whoops.
It wasn't even there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
No,
think
we
like
didn't have an
maybe,
Israel yet.
I mean, I guess James Bond was kicking with MI6,
Yeah.
around then, but that's,
I don't know. I don't know what the stacking order was back then, but I mean, certainly in possession of a lot of both domestic and international secrets between the two of them. So I mean, J. Edgar Hoover just operated that thing as just a fucking dirt machine. Not even for any specific. I mean, how many different presidents was he part of? Like 6?
Hoover? Yeah, like a fuckload. Yeah.
And it wasn't for any specific
president.
president.
It was
for
like
him.
60 plus years.
Yeah, it was for his own personal power.
Yeah.
Like notoriously would not commit to a party. He would never say whether he was a Republican or a Democrat. He was just in it for him. And all the shit that he did was for leverage for himself to stay in power and keep doing what he was doing.
Which was wearing cute little outfits with his boyfriend.
Sometimes.
Hey, sometimes the number of matching outfits those two gentlemen are wearing in all the pictures online is absurd.
Yeah, right. Well, so this operation to move all this wealth overseas away from Germany, J. Edgar Hoover found out about it and was like pissed about it and tried to get Truman at the time to put the kibosh on it. But because the British royal family had so many ties to German wealth, it never went anywhere.
Ugh.
I know, right?
They're all cousins.
The shit runs deep, man. The shit runs deep. So eventually, as we know, we got the OSS. By the time the World War II is over, the OSS is, I guess, not really, what's the word I'm looking for? Dismantled? It's just
defunct,
changed.
Decommissioned?
Decommissioned, I guess, would be the right word for it. And they'll say it was decommissioned, but I mean, then immediately it became the fucking Central something or other, and then immediately that became the CIA. So I mean,
think that seems to be, at least in the American government, very much the case of anything. It's like when you shut down a department, you just shuffle a couple of people around, put it in a different office, and then call it like a different thing, but the mission statement's always the same.
Exactly. So Dulles' big thing was, he called it the new look, right? This was his sort of national security policy. His new look was basically everything we can do to keep communism from spreading, to keep, this is basically Red Scare shit, right? Anything we can do to keep a leash on the existing communist countries so that this crazy communist threat, this Red Scare, doesn't spread anywhere, right? Mm-hmm. And we're going to have a lot of overlaps here on this episode. So at this time is, by the way, when Joseph McCarthy is doing like his whole fucking bullshit, the McCarthy trials, where he's accusing everybody of being a communist. Basically, anybody who was, a political rival of his was a communist.
Yeah, Joe McCarthy is the biggest piece of shit in history, in my opinion.
He was pretty sucky too.
It's like if I had a time machine and I could go back in time and set people on fire, I would pick him. That guy sucks.
Yeah. Well, so what's funny is that in 1950, McCarthy started subpoenaing the CIA to find potential communists within the agency, right? Fucking Dulles didn't like the idea that he was going to be snooping around in the CIA files and finding, these things that he was starting to do. In 1950, we're already in artichoke land.
Right.
So we're already doing some shady shit. And Dulles was not fucking cool with that. Interestingly, I never knew about this. Dulles ordered the CIA to break into McCarthy's Senate office. And
at the Watergate Hotel.
No, still a couple decades before that, but give him, like, basically feed him a bunch of disinformation so that when he started bringing this up as part of his trials, he was discredited because it was like just false bullshit. They fed him a bunch of false information so that when he got up during his trials and was like, oh yeah, these communists in the CIA, this guy and this guy and this guy, it was like real easy to disprove it. And then that just fucking discredited him. And that was like the sort of the beginning of his undoing.
No, he should have accused Harry Dexter White. Everybody tune in to our previous episode on the Bretton Woods Agreement. Oh, fuck. Spoilers if you haven't heard that one.
again, we know all the fucking covert shit that went on during, the MK Ultra stuff, right? And Dulles wasn't necessarily the one running Ultra. He had Richard Helms was the one who was running the project itself, and then Sidney Gottlieb, who was running the technical side in terms of, I guess, gratuitously dosing people with LSD.
For fun. Just funsies.
For funsies. Just for science. So, but there were some other things. It was, Dulles' fuckery is not limited to MK Ultra. You know about the 1953 coup in Iran?
No.
Do you know about the 1953 coup in Iran?
Oh, are you talking about the Shah?
Yeah.
Yeah, and fucking the displacement of the Shah, right. And then the Shah getting medical treatment in the United States, and then then fucking the Ayatollah, and then the displacement and therein,
and then now
leading to the Iranian hostage
now
crisis.
They're still enemies. Yeah,
which is a direct correlation to the recent attacks on Iran by Israel.
So the inciting incident was
Jesus.
Operation Ajax.
Operation Ajax.
A Dulles.
Hold on a second. You ever see the movie Flash Gordon?
I don't think so.
No? You ever hear the song Flash by Queen?
I know the song Flash. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, it's not. That's War Rocket Ajax. There's a voice in the song that goes, "Dispatch War Rocket Ajax to bring back his body."
Jesus Christ.
Deep cuts.
So the inciting incident was Alan Dulles sort of creating this Operation Ajax, which was a CIA covert operation to remove the prime minister of Iran, Mohammad Mossadegh, right?
Mohammed Mustard Dick?
The democratically elected prime minister of Iran, and to put in his place Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who was the Shah for the next, 20 years. This was all over during World War II. There was a Russian invasion of Iran. It's all under this cover of, communism. Oh God, it's going to be communist. But the reality was not even that. The reality is that Iran had found pretty recently at that point a whole fuck ton of oil. And created the Iranian oil company, but England had interests there. So England said, well, hey, let's create the Anglo-Iranian oil company, right? We'll own it with you guys. And England started this fucking Iranian oil company along with Iranian interests, but England owned 51% stake in it. So they had controlling shares of this shit. So when Mohammad Mossadegh became the prime minister, was elected by the people as prime minister, he was like, no, we're going to nationalize this. We're not shipping off all this money from Iranian assets, Iranian money to other countries to fund shit like wars against us, because England was just recently allied with Russia, right? So, and Russia just recently invaded us. So it stands to reason this money that went over there could have funded this to come over here and fuck with us. We're not doing that. We're nationalizing this. England, you can get fucked. These are our resources. This is our money. Right? So the CIA funded this coup to protect British interests, oil interests in Iran.
Ooh.
Which led to the Shah, who was an American puppet 100%, which led a couple decades down the road to another coup, the fucking, what are the motherfuckers called?
What? Islamic...
The Ayatollah.
Oh, the Ayatollah Khomeini. No, that's what you're talking about, though, is the uprising of, the Islamic militants, and then the overthrow of the Ayatollah, the overthrow of the Shah, the placement of the Ayatollah, and then Sharia law being placed in that part of the Middle East.
Well, I feel like Sharia law is more like a Saudi Arabia.
It's just
they're more into that.
Yeah, I'm not super into the know on that one personally, but I always just took it as being like a militant Islamic law.
Iranian culture right now is, what's funny is anybody who goes to Iran will tell you, like, there's a big difference between what you see on the streets and this, super fundamentalist Muslim I don't know if you want to call it a caliphate or just the Ayatollah, right?
Right. Well, I mean, like, that's
running shit in this very fundamentalist Muslim West.
Consistent disconnect between international media and the actual realities of people living on the street.
Yeah, but I mean, apparently, it's a very lively, very sort of open society.
Obviously,
there's not a lot of.
If you're getting news about the United States, like from like the BBC, it's an incredibly conservative Christian country. When really, I'm just fucking butts and doing cocaine all the time in the streets around here.
Fucking butts, wowzers. But I mean, so yeah, the Shah being a U.S. puppet didn't last for long. Eventually, the Ayatollah had a whole other coup to depose him, and since then, they've been in charge, and Iran is a problem. So, thanks, Dulles.
Thanks a lot.
But wait, that's not the only coup. Remember our guy, President Arbenz in Guatemala?
Yes.
When we did Fruit Wars?
Yeah, I remember that guy.
Democratically elected Jacobo Arbenz of... Juan Jacobo Arbenz Guzman. Jacobo Arbenz, who was democratically elected in Guatemala, who saw what companies like, what was it at the time? It's Chiquita now. United Fruit
yeah.
Company were doing.
I was going to say Banana Corp. Like a RoboCop ass future evil fruit company name.
Yeah, seriously. But he saw what they were doing in terms of sort of consolidating all of the railways and all of the radio signal transmissions and all, fucking up roads and building big camps so that they could effectively have slave labor to make billions off of bananas. And when he was democratically elected as president by the people of Guatemala, he said, enough of that. I'm taking this land. I will pay you for it. You can have the money for the land, but I'm taking this land and I'm distributing it to the people of this country. Sorry, go fucking grow bananas somewhere else, I guess.
Yeah, sorry, but suck my banana.
Yeah, I mean, it's the audacity sometimes of...
The audacity.
Of these fucking corporations to be like, no, you can't do that. This is our land. Really? Shut up.
Shut the fuck up. Whore mouth.
Yeah. And what's hilarious is if the fucking situation was reversed, if tomorrow China bought Texas, full fucking state of Texas, and goes, now this is our oil, we're going to make all the money exporting.
Or say in some strange twist of fate, the president were to give Alaska to Russia or something.
Yeah. And we're going to take...
Which is not really a topic that's been addressed this week at all.
I think that's a long shot, but whatever. So, yeah. And then they go, okay, this is our land. These are our resources on it. So all the money we make off of timber, all the money we make off of oil, all that shit, we're shipping back over to China. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And then some new president came in and said, whoa. No. No, you're not.
No.
Right?
No.
Well, first of all, the thought that could even happen would be insane, right? But I mean, it's this sort of like, oh, it's fine for us to do it, but the thought of it happening here is like, wow, oh my God, Chinese people buying land in the U.S.? A Chinese company buying land? No way.
Right.
Can't let that happen.
That again also would be strange comparatively, say, if the United States owned some massive tract of land between Canada and Russia that we're not actually physically attached to. That would be bizarre.
Also, yes. But I mean, at least that was an agreed upon sale. So, at any rate, Jacobo Arbenz came in. He said,
Jacobo,
that's enough. We're not doing this. We're taking it back, right? And so, remember PB Success?
Yeah, Operation PB Success.
Yeah.
This Success, yeah.
This was in Fruit Wars, if you have listened to those.
Peanut butter and bananas go together hand in hand.
They really do. So they trained Carlos Armas and had him lead a CIA-funded coup to overthrow Arbenz.
Yep.
And
Armas...
crazy, lo and behold, immediately Armas started fucking...
Arbenz.
No, Armas when he took over. When Armas took over.
Okay, now I got you.
When Armas took over, immediately started fucking just boot on the neck of anybody within any fucking particularly strangely, I don't know why, working for United Fruit, anybody who spoke up about labor rights or labor conditions or anything like that was thrown in jail, maybe killed, maybe just disappeared.
Yeah. I picture like a labor leader, in Guatemala or something, just being tied to a chair and force-fed bananas.
But remember, I don't know if you remember.
Are you hungry? You can have all the bananas you want.
I don't know if you remember from Fruit Wars, I mentioned that Alan Dulles, I believe it was Alan Dulles.
Yep. You did mention, yes.
Was on the board of United Fruit.
Yep.
And I don't think his brother was. I think it was just Alan who was on the board.
You did mention that like Alan being on the board connected to his brother who was Secretary of State.
Well, also they both worked for Sullivan and Cromwell, who represented United Fruit as their legal defense.
Yep.
And also
got fucking connecting MK Ultra to the fucking banana scandals.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
God damn. Do you think that the cocaine they were shipping from the banana factories ended up in the hands of the CIA?
Possibly
and then was distributed amongst underprivileged black communities around the United States as crack cocaine?
That was until the 80s. We're still a couple decades away from that.
And we're still getting there. It does like cocaine. Yeah. Cocaine's not going bad.
No. I mean, I don't know. Will it?
I don't know.
Do you have to freeze it? Do you have like a use by date? Use or freeze by?
I honestly don't know.
It never lasts that long, does it?
I don't think anyone's ever had that problem.
I do, because I don't like cocaine. Actually, one time, somebody gave me, like at the bar, gave me a little baggie of cocaine. Like,
here you go.
When I made, yeah. Well, when you're a bartender, people think like it's cool to tip you in weed or coke or like. I'm like,
yeah, yeah.
So
I got so much weed as a bartender, and I don't smoke weed.
But I put it in and neither do I. I really don't do much of anything. I have some beers from time to time, but and I put it in a little box up in my closet. And 2 years later, I was like, oh shit, a little baggie of cocaine in here. I just threw it away.
You just had it hanging out in your room.
Because I fucking where my fucking snooping ass son was like, oh no, you have cocaine once he got old enough. To fucking throw it in my face. And I was like, yeah, you know why? Because I don't do cocaine. Do you know anybody who does cocaine who just has cocaine laying around forever?
My emergency cocaine. Yeah.
No, somebody gave it to me, and I know enough people who do cocaine that I was like, somebody's eventually going to be like...
He's like an old grandpa who's got a big bag of weed from Vietnam.
But I mean, it was, I was like, somebody was eventually going to ask, and then I forgot about it, and then eventually I just tossed it. But yeah, so, like I said, Alan was on the board of directors. Fucking John and Alan were both part of whatever the fuck Stanford and Cromwell, is that what it was? Stan something and Cromwell?
Stanislavski.
Who represented United Fruit. And there was also who was president at that time? Eisenhower? Yeah. Remember one of the guys that was... I don't have it in front of me here. This was from Fruit Wars. One of the guys who was part of United Fruit was married to Eisenhower's personal secretary. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember you saying that. Yeah.
So there were all these ties to specifically Dulles.
Yeah, it's wildly incestuous corruption.
Yeah,
far-ranging from South America into the American government.
There was all these strange ties specifically to the Dulles brothers.
England,
and United Fruit, and but boy, oh boy, did Alan Dulles love him some coups, because you know what? I loved him some coups.
Hi-oh.
Apparently he did love that too. His sister at some point said that that he had over 100 extramarital affairs.
Well, he's got to study Operation Midnight Climax.
I wonder. We don't know for sure, but so also at the time, I don't know if you how intact your 1960s African history is, but at the time in the Congo, there was wasn't so much a coup as it was Belgium. It was a Belgian colony, and
right.
Belgium saying, okay, we're going to get the fuck out of here, but we'll stick around and help you guys get your shit sorted out and sort of get a government, whatever.
Very benevolent.
Yeah, of course. And so it's very convoluted, but ultimately a man named Patrice Lumumba won the vote to become the prime minister of Congo.
Jesus Christ. One day we're going to do like a fucking 5-parter on Africa, I swear to God.
No, it's going to be deep.
Living in the United States, any international listeners, for instance, our listeners, what's that island?
Which one?
The one that we've got listeners
Guernsey.
on? Guernsey. If any of our Guernsey listeners are, we don't know fucking anything about Africa. Like the United States, the education system in the United States.
Yeah, I'm an outlier,
I'm saying like as a collective, like United States, we don't know fuck all about Africa. Like we've got Anansi the Spider, Nelson Mandela, and the movie Congo from the Michael Crichton novel.
I think most people's understanding of Africa
Ali
is
Boumbaye. That's pretty much all we got.
I think most people's understanding of Africa
and the Paul Simon album Graceland.
Shut up. And Toto's Africa.
That's pretty much, yeah, there you go.
And some Jumanji animals.
Some Jumanji stuff. I read a lot of Tarzan, which is not particularly kind to African natives.
I think what most people know about Africa is there's a bunch of poor black people, right?
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of poverty,
Blood
and which is not even accurate. It's not even accurate.
We got Jimon Hansu.
You look at places like Lagos, Nigeria. You look at places like Johannesburg, South Africa. There are some very wealthy metropolitan areas throughout Africa. Also, just the difference between Northern Africa and Southern Africa and Eastern Africa and Western Africa. There's a lot of diversity.
Yeah.
And the problem that what most people don't know about Africa is that Africa is one of the most mineral and resource rich, if not the most continent in the entire world. And the only reason why it's full of poor black people is because it was colonized very early on during European colonization. Uh-huh. And it had its problems before that, too. There was a lot of slaving going on intercontinentally before that. You know, we had slavers from Northern Africa coming down to places like Mozambique and fucking... Yeah, and that's how we got Yasket.
Yeah, very importantly, both sides of Africa, the African coast specifically, were colonized because, and this is fun fact, Europe was really working hard to get to Indonesia for sugar for a long time.
Yep.
It was like a massive industry shipping around there, so all of the ports would be going around Cape Horn.
Right.
Or the Cape of Good Hope, I'm sorry. They're going around the Cape of Good Hope, so both sides of Africa were getting colonized en route, essentially.
Right. Well, because what happened was, ultimately with the Spice Road, as that became more popular, more traveled, more whatever, it also became more dangerous because there's a lot of wealth walking back and forth along that very, very long road.
Would you say it was getting spicy?
It was getting real spicy. It was getting spicy. Spicy. And so as soon as Europeans started figuring out how to navigate around the tip of Africa and get there by sea, boy, oh boy, are there all kinds of resources and stuff along the way. Just look at that coast, boy. And so you've already got slavers there. That's why, when people are like, well, there's Africans selling other Africans. Sure. Yeah.
That's such a fucking stupid false flag bullshit thing. I mean, like,
it is false flag bullshit because without demand, there's no supply. So shut up. But,
I think the argument's always like, in between like the tribes, they would have slaves. I'm like, yeah, so would Europeans, Native Americans.
So did Northern Africans go across the Mediterranean Sea,
Chinese,
and
Japan.
enslave fucking white people too. That's
Japanese people would enslave other Japanese people.
Slavery is not a new thing. Slavery has been around since the fucking beginning of time.
Yeah, no,
has always been a thing.
It always struck me as the dumbest shit that they'd just be like, yeah, tribes would enslave other tribes and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but what about the cities and the civilizations and the cultures, like the big ones?
Yeah,
there were cities, big fuck cities, like ridiculous metropolitan areas. The richest person of all time was African.
Yeah. No, I think part of the thing is that people don't realize is that entire continent has been systematically colonized and raped of all of its resources. And even when those colonial powers, whether they were Dutch, Belgian, Portuguese, English, whatever, on their way out, sure, they turned the government over to the people begrudgingly and frequently with a lot of fuckery, but they also kept all of the resources. One of my favorite examples is diamonds are not rare.
No.
The reason why diamonds are rare, quote unquote, is because De Beers, a Dutch company, owns basically every single diamond mine. And so they control the flow of how many diamonds come out of those mines.
Yeah, the scarcity of gems in general is essentially made up.
Yeah.
It's just because,
and so
fun fact, it's like, diamonds are real rare. Yeah, how much of the earth have you dug?
Yeah. Even though the Dutch are no longer in control anywhere in Africa, they still control some of the most profitable parts of Africa. And all of that money, rather than staying in those places and helping those cities, states, countries, entire areas, those communities to grow, like what you do typically when you have a resource-rich area, is that money goes to grow your community and make people more prosperous. All that money's shipped out. It doesn't stay there. And that is true across most of that entire continent.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, back to Patrice Lumumba. He wanted to nationalize everything in the Congo. And the Congo is a very, very resource-rich area. And so
they got the diamonds that
they've got diamond
that
mines.
they were after in Congo, the movie Congo. The Lost City of Zinj.
Also,
you remember Tim Curry?
Also, Blood Diamond. Wasn't that supposed to be
the Lost City of Zinj? But they also got crazy big gorilla chimps with like white hair that will kill Bruce Campbell.
Jesus Christ. So when Lumumba won the election to be prime minister, the CIA was very much like, oh, this talking about, nationalizing their resources and keeping their money within their country to make their people prosper sounds a whole lot like communism.
Ugh.
They can't just kick the Belgians out like that of their country.
Change the record.
Yeah. So no shit. So Dulles had actually allocated $100,000 to a plan to assassinate Patrice Lumumba. Unfortunately, Lumumba was assassinated by inter-party struggle because there's a lot. If you want to read up on it, it is fucking crazy. But there were a lot of different political factions within the Congo, and Lumumba becoming the prime minister there was all kinds of shit. So a different political party in the Congo ended up offing him. But
man, when I think of
but that was John Allen Dulles, baby.
What a piece of shit.
Oh, I've got another one. You know what? We'll do one more of him, and then we'll move on to Sidney Gottlieb. Because we got to wrap this up.
I was just going to say, in my sensibilities, it's difficult for me to wrap my head around the political action of other countries that I haven't physically been to.
Yeah.
It all sounds very sweaty. I have a hard time outside of watching the movie Invictus. I don't know. Right. I don't know a whole lot of shit about African.
It's hard because
the setting of African politics.
It's hard because as Americans, in no one's memory, no one who's alive, is there a memory of the United States being attacked, maybe with the exception of Pearl Harbor.
Well, I mean, 9/11, I guess, but that was just a singular.
That wasn't really like a wartime.
Yeah, there hasn't been
attack.
a
that wasn't a
full scale war attack.
That wasn't a state sanctioned other country going. That's right, attack them.
Yeah,
that was
we haven't been bombed.
Yeah, that was that was the Taliban, some fucking kook in a beard or in a cave with a beard.
Was it now?
Kook in a beard.
was that it?
No, it was an inside job. Is that what you want me to say?
No, I'm not saying anything.
Fucking idiot.
I didn't say anything. Loose change.
Jesus Christ. Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams. I can't even say that sentence. Okay, so one last thing about John. God damn it, I keep saying John. About Allen Dulles. You're familiar with the Cuban Missile Crisis, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Cuba had a big problem with their missiles. They were super short supply. It was like a crisis.
Yeah. Fucking Fidel Castro was like, oh, they don't work.
Oh no, my missiles.
I'm gonna have to get them all fixed.
Oh no, the bay is full of pigs.
Well, speaking of the Bay of Pigs, the Bay of Pigs incident is what caused the Cuban Missile Crisis. If you don't know the story, basically Allen Dulles had a real hard-on for assassinating Castro. Castro came into power.
That's like the white whale of fucking CIA shit.
Yeah. Castro came into power pretty aggressively, believed that he wanted to turn Cuba into a communist country. A lot of Cubans fled because they were suddenly having all of their assets sort of seized because, again, Castro came in very aggressively. And a communist country literally 70 miles off the shore of the U.S. didn't make I guess, Washington feel very good.
Right.
Which to me, I'd say, who fucking cares?
Yeah, leave them alone.
Their country.
Goddamn.
You don't have to trade with them if you don't want to, and we didn't. Yeah. You don't have to do anything. But the problem is, we kept stumbling over our own fucking dicks with them, right?
Yep.
Rather than try and do some kind of damage control, we said, okay, embargo. And then so Fidel Castro said, okay, hey, Russia.
Like, yeah.
And then we were like, no, wait. So Dulles really had this fucking hard on to just fucking get rid of him, right? So I want to say the Bay of Pigs invasion was planned when Eisenhower was in office, but by the time they followed through with it, Kennedy was president, right? So they came up with this invasion that they were going to not just embargo Cuba, but we were going to land some troops there, and then they were going to undercover go in there and fucking take out Castro, right? It went horribly wrong. Castro actually became a fucking giant hero. All those photos you see of him as a young man with the cigar and the military fatigues, he fought in the Bay of Pigs.
Yeah.
He fucking repelled U.S. troops that covertly landed on the shores of Cuba to try and take over.
Kind of something that people don't talk about with Castro or Che Guevara. You know, it's not like they were just fucking administrators.
Right.
They led a like a fucking bloody revolution.
Absolutely. And so again,
the reason Che Guevara was so quick to fucking execute people after, he's like, I mean, I'm still at war. We're still right. I got the gun. I kill the guy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it stands to reason. But again, like I said, stumbling over our own fucking dicks. So we embargo them. They go to Russia. We go, we got to take Castro out. We fucking shank that whole operation. What?
Spider's all the way over there now.
Where?
If you look forward, it's behind the baffling.
Oh. On this side or that side?
There's been a spider in the studio kind of walking around, just checking shit out.
Really casually walking around,
really,
too. Not scurrying at all.
Fucking big spider, but he's just kind of walking around. Weird behavior for a spider. Actually,
yeah,
it's kind of freaking
just
me
kind
out.
of chilling. Maybe Drew sprayed or something in here, and he's on his way out.
Could be, yeah.
I hope not. I hope he's just having a nice day.
He's looking for a place to lay 1 million eggs.
I hope he's just having a day off, and he's like, you know what?
Go for a nice stroll.
I always talk about checking out some new things. You know, today I'm actually going to go do it.
These guys are pretty interesting. Maybe they'd like to hear the spider perspective.
So then, you know, we shank a fucking operation to take over the government of Cuba because, oh no, communism. And then that leads to the Cuban Missile Crisis, which is Soviets saying, you know what? Since they're going to fucking be doing shady shit like that, why don't we just ship you guys some fucking, some missiles, some nuclear missiles?
Sure, hey.
You guys want some nukes? And then that was a real fucking shady, like, people don't realize how fucking close that's probably the closest we've ever come as a planet to all out nuclear war.
Yeah.
Because
we were like, fuck you, commies. And the commies like, yeah.
Well, because Russia felt justified because we had nukes on their doorstep.
Right.
And so they said, okay, you can keep nukes on our doorstep. We'll put some on your doorstep. And that was a real fucking, I mean, that I know now it's like a joke to like laugh about the, oh God, the communists, you know, there's like, if you watched old Futurama episodes,
right.
The dad was like, when the commies come, and he's got like a fucking fallout shelter and shit. Like, that was a fucking scary moment. And that moment in particular, like, people were legitimately like, we had fucking U-boats a few miles offshore, you know, it was
almost
dodgy
no time.
shit, man. It was dodgy shit. So luckily it didn't happen. So, but hey,
yet let's not forget that all of this technology still exists and tensions are as high as ever.
It's true.
But everybody's kind of dicking around playing video games now. So we're not really that worried about it.
That is true. But that basically, after that happened, was when Alan Dulles had to resign at that point.
Right. You dumb piece of shit.
That was egg on his face big time, man. That was like, you fucked that up. First of all, you planned it under Eisenhower. You didn't tell me about it. If I'm Kennedy, you didn't tell me about it. You
didn't tell me about it.
You didn't tell me about it. I wanted to know about the Bay of Pigs.
You know, fucking. I know we're gonna wrap this up. This is a mini episode.
Yeah.
Do you know about the Kennedy and PT-109?
No.
That's fucking cool. He was a war hero. Do you know that?
I think so. Yeah.
In the Pacific during World War II, the torpedo boat that they were on got hit by a Japanese destroyer and sank. And Kennedy personally carried one wounded person on his back while they swam to shore.
I will personally carry you to shore.
But he 22 or 23-year-old JFK fucking swam with a guy on his back and helped everybody evacuate the boat.
Hang on to my shoulders.
They got to shore, and they talked to some locals on this island. And he inscribed a message on a coconut and sent a local on a boat to go get literally inscribed
take this coconut
SOS on a fucking coconut, and they went and they got help from Australian troops.
JFK had such a robotic delivery. I can't help but just say everything in that sort of robotic delivery.
Ich bin ein Berliner.
Okay, so we got to talk about Gottlieb real quick. Same situation, but here's where a lot of the parallels with MK come in, right? So Gottlieb was born a little bit later. He was born in 1918, right? Jewish immigrant parents, Hungarian Jewish, and he went to San Jose State University. He went to he ended up going eventually to the University of Wisconsin, and he got an agricultural biology degree there. He went also to the California Institute of Technology, and he got his doctorate in biochemistry, right? So he finishes his doctorate in biochemistry in 1943. He's mid-20s, right? I don't know if he went back to work at University of Wisconsin, but his mentor was a dean at the College of Agriculture at University of Wisconsin, a guy named Ira Baldwin, right? We didn't talk about Ira Baldwin at all in MK Ultra, but he's a little bit important here, right? I don't know if you remember University of Wisconsin in terms of Frank Olson.
I don't know if I remember his connection with the University of Wisconsin. I remember Frank Olson very
If you
well.
recall, Frank Olson, after getting his degree in chemistry, went to work at the university.
Anybody having trouble remembering Frank Olson is the Pile of Dead Monkeys high-rise pavement dive guy.
Yeah, the suspicious circumstances in which he perished. But he went to work at the University of Wisconsin.
I.e. was murdered by the CIA. I'm just
probably.
saying. Yeah.
Before he...
Oh, he was a cheesehead.
Before he got called to go work at Fort Detrick. Remember, he was working in the Special Operations Division at Fort Detrick.
Right.
On biowarfare and chemical warfare. And that is where he connected with Sidney Gottlieb. So there's this strange connection where Gottlieb goes to University of Wisconsin. Ira Baldwin is his sort of mentor. Frank Olson ends up at University of Wisconsin, and Ira Baldwin sees that he's a really great chemist, and he is the one who sort of puts him in touch with Gottlieb. That's how Frank Olson ended up leaving the University of Wisconsin and going to Detrick.
Jesus Christ. We got a lot of yarn on a lot of fucking pins in this episode.
The Charlie Day fucking...
Then
it's all connected.
Then Ira had a son named Alec.
What was the name
on spawned Alec Baldwin's career.
What was the name on that episode of It's Always Sunny? That he's when he's working at the mailroom?
Yeah, it's Cheryl. I think it's Cheryl.
No. Well, no, that's when he's talking about somebody else. It's some stupid fucking... Anyway, I can't remember. So, yeah.
Pepe de Silvia.
Pepe.
Pepe, I gotta find Pepe. I gotta find Pepe.
Silvia?
There is no Pepe Silvia. There's nobody in this office. This office is a goddamn ghost town.
And it's just Pennsylvania. Yeah, this fucking idiot.
Oh my God.
Pepe Silvia. Pepe Silvia. Pepe Silvia.
Was it just Pennsylvania?
Yeah, he just can't read. Charlie can't read.
He's illiterate.
Yeah.
God,
that's the whole thing.
They never tell that joke in that episode.
No, that's the joke though.
God damn it.
Because he's working in the mailroom and he can't find Pepe Silvia.
Illiterate son of a bitch. That's good. That's good. 10 years since the fucking episode came out. Easily.
Okay, so like I said, Alan Dulles starts working in the OSS, or starts leading the OSS and going into the CIA, right? Ira Baldwin knows Alan Dulles. Ira Baldwin recommends Sidney Gottlieb to go work for Alan Dulles to run a biowarfare program at Fort Detrick. Does this sound familiar?
Yes.
Gottlieb has been gone from University of Wisconsin,
right?
But Ira Baldwin was his mentor, and they always sort of stayed in contact, right? So Ira Baldwin goes, "Hey, Alan, my buddy Alan, who's now doing this biowarfare shit for the CIA,
Alan Dulles,
he recommends Sidney Gottlieb to Alan Dulles.
Son of a bitch.
to go to, again, I'm going to say it again, to go run a biowarfare program at Fort Detrick.
Well,
this is not Frank Olson. This is Sidney Gottlieb.
Okay.
Right? Gottlieb ends up running a program to figure out, to master brainwashing, because they're worried that the USSR and China are doing this.
Right.
They're figuring this out, right? That is known as, when Sidney Gottlieb comes in, that is known as Project Bluebird, right? Bluebird's experimenting with special interrogation, quote unquote, using drugs and shit, right?
Right.
So the next year, in 1951, Dulles says, I want Bluebird expanded. And then they renamed Project Bluebird Project Artichoke.
Son of a bitch.
Yep. And that's when they started trying to figure out the truth serum, which, they tried cocaine, heroin, mescaline, THC, before they finally got to LSD and thought, this is the one.
This'll do it. This is that's the ticket. So the guys are like, I'm fucking seeing snakes. They're like, all right, so he sees snakes. He's definitely telling the truth. Perhaps there are invisible snakes that we can't see.
Jesus Christ. So keep in mind, LSD is only like a decade old, right? So that was part of the big thing. But yeah, this is when Gottlieb sort of spearheads the Special Operations Division at Detrick, which, if you remember, was like super covert. Like you had to have levels and levels and levels of security. That was the Fort Detrick, which was already not a black site, but
military site. You get a lot of checks and balances.
A very high level military site. And the SOD was, remember from MK Ultra, it was the Detrick inside of Detrick. So you were like going through the vault doors to get to this shit.
Right.
And again, Gottlieb, through Ira Baldwin, hears about this brilliant chemist, Frank Olson, and that's how Frank Olson ends up at Detrick.
God damn.
And that's right. That's early 50s.
So did you just link the Bay of Pigs to the murder of Frank Olson?
all through Dulles, yeah, basically.
God damn.
Technically, yeah, through Ira Baldwin. Because Ira Baldwin's kind of the common thread through a lot of this too, and Dulles.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So, but that was, I don't know if I'm accurate here. I'd have to go back and look at my notes. Frank Olson was a bacteriologist. I think he was also a chemist, but right here it's saying bacteriologist. So if I'm wrong on that, I'm sorry about that. I think he was both. I think he had multiple degrees, but yeah, that's, so this is all, and Frank Olson comes in right as they're getting real heavy, if you remember correctly, real heavy into the LSD and dosing at first willing participants. And then after a while going, well, what happens if it,
taking LSD himself, and then
what happens
getting
if
weirder?
What happens if a Russian asset releases it into the water supply of a town? We got to know how people would react if they're unwittingly dosed with LSD.
Fucking psychotic. Like that is such. I've been doing a lot of acid talk. It's fucking nuts.
Also, if you come up with that idea, that means, and you're Alan Dulles or Sidney Gottlieb, that means you want to do it somewhere else.
Yeah,
that means you've thought, hey, it'd be cool. You know how we could make a whole town get brainwashed to do whatever we wanted?
Just dose the fuck out of them.
LSD in their water supply.
I mean, legit though, if you dump a bunch of LSD into the water supply of a town and then put some fucking crazy flashing lights in the sky or something, a lot of them will think that God has come back. So
fly a bunch of stealth bombers in formation.
Bunch of strobe lights.
Have you ever watched a stealth bomber fly through the?
Yeah, it's really creepy.
It is fucking weird as shit.
Yeah.
It's this weird silent black parallelogram just flying through the sky.
Yeah, it's really bizarre.
It feels like the world is broken.
Feels unnatural and things are fucked.
It does.
But no, you just fly a bunch of planes with strobe lights playing like Fisher Spooner or something over there and fucking
Jesus. Gottlieb, by the way, in addition to MK Ultra, was also part of the Cuban Project, which was again a CIA plan under Eisenhower, and Gottlieb, this was all to take out Fidel Castro or turn him into an asset.
Either
right?
or.
So Gottlieb's ideas were, let's spray his television studio with LSD, because he used to do broadcasts. Let's
spray it with LSD.
Let's spray his television studio with LSD. I had heard about this.
Aerosolized,
yeah, I guess. I don't know.
Just put
in the AC ducts.
Oh shit! Just fucking spray the equipment so when he touches it, it gets into his skin.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. You can do that.
That's crazy shit.
I know. I remember hearing about this one a long time ago, and I thought it was hilarious. And it was literally just to delegitimize him. He had the idea, Gottlieb did.
So did he record while he was tripping his dick off?
There's bugs.
He's chomping his cigar.
There's
like,
bugs.
I'm a wildebeest.
There's bugs in your brain. So he also had the idea to saturate Castro's shoes with thallium to make his beard fall out. Did you ever hear about that?
No.
Yeah, they wanted to like, because this sort of big, powerful guy in the fatigues with the cigar and the big beard. And they thought like, oh, if we can make his beard fall out, he'll look like a fucking loser. That was like a thing just to delegitimize him.
Make him look like a bitch.
He wanted to, some of his assassination ideas were use a poisoned cigar.
That's a good one.
Use a poisoned wetsuit. I don't know if was Castro an avid diver. How about this one? An exploding conch shell.
Nice.
And a poisonous fountain pen. Like a pen with like a little needle in it.
That's some fucking CIA.
That's some CIA shit, right? That's
but it's also like some like I've been doing drugs.
I've done so much LSD.
This poisonous fucking fountain pen.
Yeah. Gottlieb was also part of the plot to assassinate Patrice Lumumba.
I thought you were going to say Patrice O'Neill.
He actually Gottlieb actually went to the Congo and was he had a vial of poison that he was going to put on Lumumba's toothbrush.
He was going to kill Lumumba himself?
They were going to do that. Yeah. They were going to do that. I'm telling you, Dulles already had allocated $100,000, which what is $100,000 in 1960? That's a lot of fucking money.
$900,000?
Easily, if not over $1 million.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, like he was in Africa when actually there was a different guy. I think, a guy named Larry Devlin was the guy who was going to go over there. He was the CIA station chief in the Congo. So he brought it there to Larry Devlin. I'm sure Larry Devlin was probably going to give it to some fucking agent to do it. I'm sure they probably had guys in Lumumba's inner circle and he put this on his toothbrush. But then there was the military coup that overthrew and assassinated Lumumba.
Ooh,
so,
nice and easy.
Yeah, dude. And, much like Dulles, both of these guys died just, at home, surrounded by loved ones.
These monstrous fucks that cause so much pain and suffering.
Literally, Gottlieb died in 1999, not even that long ago, at his home in Virginia. He had heart problems. That was it.
How? He didn't have one.
As for Dulles died...
Tell me he died in a hotel with a male prostitute, please.
No. He died in 1969 of influenza.
Good. Fuck him.
Yeah, 75 years old, at his home in D.C. Probably in a hospital, but yeah, he had influenza, which then caused pneumonia, and he was 75 years old, and people didn't live that long in 1969. 75 was a good life. Now my parents are almost 75, and I'm like, fuck, don't do it.
I wonder if somebody dipped influenza on his fucking toothbrush or something. Give him a blanket.
I was going to say, blanket is usually the best.
Are you cold, sir? I got this blanket for you.
The hospital orderly. A CIA hospital orderly. Why is this orderly in the French heroin mafia?
Thank you guys for tuning in to our monthly mini.
Thank you guys. We'll see you next month for another monthly mini, but we'll see you this week and next week and all the other weeks for the rest of it. Okay, bye.
Bye.